Today I'm going to be installing a aftermarket handlebar. This is the Renthal 673. We're going to see if it makes a difference on the bike.
More motorcycle stuff in the mail for me. These are a pair of fork guards that my man Charlie made, Armadillo Products. These actually go down below the bottom of the fork leg. This is yet another air box. I actually broke the last one down here somewhere, so this will be good. I'll have it as a backup because I JB welded the last one and it hopefully will hold. So this is actually what I wanted to show you. This might be skills in a box part 2. Dude, I feel like I can fly already. These are Renthal fat bars. This is Tony Bow and Lampion edition. They're similar to the World Team Comp bars. To me, that sweep looks almost the same. And they're definitely not as tall. They're just a touch wider, so I don't know if it's gonna make that much of a difference.
So I decided to hop around on the driveway to get that direct comparison. I want to be able to feel exactly what the stock handlebars were like before switching to the new ones.
Tools needed for this job. It helps to have a stand to put the bike on. I have got a set of Allen wrenches. This is a 4 and a 6. Helps to have a torque wrench, a Phillips, and this is a 7, as well as some pipe thread. I used a pencil as well for this job.
There's an air pocket at the top of the forks that acts as a secondary spring. As the forks cycle multiple times, they pump just a tiny bit of air into the forks with each cycle. I periodically burp the excess air out of my forks by unscrewing the red caps until the O-ring gets above the top of the tube. It lets the air out, then I screw it back down. I think it's a good idea to loosen the bolts at the top of the triple clamp before you unscrew the red cap, and then tighten the red cap and then tighten the bolt again.
I can tell I'm going to be needing to push the bars further forward than what these little guides provide as far as a measuring. So I'm going to go ahead and put some tape on here so I can see where I'm at. So when I'm cranking these two bolts down, I just want to make sure that the space between here and the space on this backside is even, so that they're going down together rather than being one more than the other.
All right, well, I'll tell you one thing, I like the color. Man, that orange really pops. And they feel wider. They feel a lot wider. These are only 1 centimeter total wider, but I can feel it. It's definitely noticeable. I feel like my arms are going further apart, which I'll have to check my ability to static balance, but feels like it might give me more stability. I mean, that's wheel straight. Usually I'm not that good. So wider, I feel. The fact that they don't have as much rise coming up, not sure I can tell that just yet. Maybe it's just in my head. I like them. All right, let's see how they feel when I turn. Feel good. Don't know that I really notice a difference in the turn so much as just the overall width and potentially being a little flatter. So I like them. I think this is a keeper. This is something I'll have to get these out into the woods and in real practice situations and see if I can see much of a difference. Very excited to try and do flick turns with these. I feel like the bike is definitely more controllable as far as a balancing standpoint. I know it's only a centimeter difference as far as the width, but I can feel it. I can definitely tell that I've got more leverage as I'm turning and hopping and doing those type of things.
So after riding with the Renthal 673 handlebars, I wanted to give you guys a final recap on some of my thoughts. First of all, they just feel more stable. There's something about the bars and the way that they're angled that just feels better. And let me try and break it down for you with this example. So ignore this top piece right here for a moment, and any handlebar is going to have a little bit of rise as it goes up. And in trials, when you're pushing that bar forward, now all of a sudden I'm holding on to bars that are a little bit angled up like this. So my pinky is almost a little bit higher than my forefinger, if you can imagine. So as this is lower and I can't quite get it in the frame, the handlebars on the Oxia bars, the ones that came stock, felt a little bit more like this. Whereas these Renthals that are flatter with less rise just feel a little bit more like this. So it's a little bit more comfortable to hold on to. It feels more like you're hanging onto a broomstick. And you can think about the leverage as you're tugging on something. When it's flat, it just feels more natural as opposed to angled up a little bit. So for me, putting my hands on the bars immediately, I was like, yeah, I just like these better. My friend Ron has put a lot of people on the World Team Comp bars, which are similar, and he said, everyone that tries them says, yeah, I just like these better. So for me, I definitely like that. They are just a touch wider. I think I was noticing more when I was first riding that angle was straight, and that created that stable atmosphere, which felt wider, but it really was only a centimeter wider overall. I think I also have a little bit more leverage as I'm doing different power moves, tugging on the bars with splats, zaps, things of that nature, and then also the color. So undoubtedly, these are a nice, bright color orange. They definitely match the rims on the factory Scorpa bike, so I really enjoy that. The negatives are the downsides. Nose wheelies were just a touch harder. So because the bars weren't quite as high and then pushed forward, I did have to soften up the front. So in order to get the same effect on the nose wheelies and being able to push down on the front and get that rear end to come up, I wound up reducing the front fork preload about a half of a turn. That's not that hard to compensate for those bars, and a lot of the nose wheelie is about technique and getting your suspension down, but that was one small downside. The other is that they were 80 bucks. So if you guys are thinking about buying these, I would say they're a performance enhancement product. I definitely am keeping these. I am very happy with them. I'm not going back to the other bars at any time, but if you don't have 80 bucks, it might not be worth it to you, and I don't think they're needed. It's definitely not something, if you're starting to learn trials, you need to go out and buy different handlebars. I thought it'd be fun for this channel to go ahead and purchase them and review them and give you some honest thoughts, but they're not needed. However, if you want to be stable and you want to have a little bit more balance, I think it's a good investment. I appreciate you guys watching. If you've got other handlebars, I'd love to hear your thoughts on why you got them, what you like out of them, and which ones they are in the comments down below. And if you want more product reviews, make sure you give this a thumbs up. Thanks so much.